Other one that I wanted to go into was price per square foot and average price per square foot. Now, these triple dollar signs, which is this one here, the blue, the triple dollar signs is the highest, meaning I'm looking at the highest sold home per square foot in Park Ridge as it relates to its style. So the blue is typically the highest sold comp in that area per square foot. So I'll even go back here a little bit to give you guys some idea. Okay, so we have Cape Cod. So the highest sold Cape Cod home in Park Ridge sold for $899,000. The square foot for that house was 3,026 square feet. And if you did the calculations as far as divided the price by the square foot, you would get approximately $297 per square foot. And I did the same thing with Colonials. The highest sold Colonial in Park Ridge in the last 12 months was $1.35 million. The highest sold ranch in Park Ridge was $870,000. The highest sold split level, $875,000. And the highest sold buy level is $730,000. I got all the square foots based on the tax records, so we're hoping the tax records are up to date. Divided them, and then I got the price per square foot for the highest sold style of home in Park Ridge for that particular style of home. Okay, so that's what that blue, the blue denotes on the graph. Now the red is actually talking about the we're looking at the average price per square foot. So I collectively got the average price of all of those specific style of houses. So I got the average price for buy levels, which was $642,000, Capes $562,500, Colonials $857,000. Excuse me. Ranches $617,000 and splits $732,000. Then I got the average square foots of each of these properties, and then I divided them and I got the average price per square foot. So that's the average price per square foot on all of these. So interestingly enough, the highest comp or highest Cape Cod that sold, average price per square foot actually sold, I would say about $27 less than the average in Park Ridge. Colonials actually sold a little bit higher, but Colonials tend to be the lowest if you were to look at them as it relates to the rest of them. Colonials tend to be the actually the lowest in terms of average price per square foot, $271. Ranch's average price per square foot, $372, which is why I tell so many homeowners that I've spoken with, if you have a ranch, you are sitting on gold, because ranches tend to be a hot commodity in Park Ridge. A lot of people tend to be looking for them. And although they might not be the highest priced, which is okay, because typically most ranches are older in age, so there's usually maybe just renovations or improvements that they've done, but they're not like new construction homes like some of the newer builds that are Colonials in Park Ridge. Ranches are $372 per square foot, and then the highest one actually sold for $375, so it even sold a little bit higher, which is good. Split levels $350 per square foot, and then buy levels $339. So every single style, with the exception of Colonial, sold for over $320 per square foot minimum. So Colonials, although I love Colonials always tend to be the more preferred traditional route for people to purchase. In Park Ridge, as of right now, based on what I'm seeing in the last 12 months, it's not the highest in terms of average price per square foot. So just something to keep in mind if you do own a Colonial in Park Ridge. You know, it's a property that probably sells more on average than it does for, let's say, like a ranch would. And you can actually see the breakdown as far as the percent of home styles purchased. So if you're wondering what tends to sell more in Park Ridge, you actually have 8.2% being Cape Cods, 6.8% being buy levels, 20% being split levels. But the majority of what sells is ranches. And it's actually pretty interesting if you were to think about it. You would assume, well, if there's more ranches selling, then because there's a higher supply, the demand won't be as high. But that's actually not true. It seems that in Park Ridge, that with more ranches on there, they actually got going back to this number, they actually got the highest average price per square foot. So again, owning a ranch in Park Ridge is great. It automatically, if you were comparing to, let's say, like a Colonial, or let's say even like a Cape, you're automatically going to get somewhere between, I would say, $25 to $50 increase in price per square foot on average. So ranches tend to be 34.2% of the makeup of the buyers purchasing in Park Ridge. And then Colonials, again, very popular, but still not popular in terms of what people are willing to pay for it. Colonials are 30.1% of the breakdown here. And I felt like that was important to take a look at, because as we're starting to talk about pricing, as we're starting to talk about timing, as we're starting to talk about, well, what are people really buying, or what are people really paying for when it comes to these properties? It's really important to know, well, what is it that they want? What is it that's selling more? And if we were to look at the market right now and kind of gauge, okay, well, how many Colonials are there? Are there a lot of ranches on the market? Are there a lot of Cape Cods on the market? And we more or less know what the average is in that area. If there aren't the options that we're going to put, right, that might actually give us an opportunity to leverage that, so that we know, well, we know that there's not many of ranches on the market right now. And we also know that ranches tend to sell for higher than most other styles of homes in Park Ridge. So I wouldn't be opposed to, if we were to go back to those numbers there, where the average was $372 per square foot, I wouldn't even be opposed to listing a property maybe closer to $400 per square foot if there was really nothing else to choose from as far as ranch styles were concerned. So that's kind of to give us some context in the sense of how we go ahead, or how I go ahead pricing homes when I'm getting ready to bring them to market.